Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Nerves Podcast. This is Bats, and we are going to be doing something different this week, this day. We're going to be doing something that I've been wanting to do for a while, always been trying to find a way to do it, and that is we are going to create a new tabletop role-playing game right now. It's live for me, I guess not for you, because you're watching this after I've edited it and put music and stuff. We're going to put it up on itch.io on the Nerves Podcast page. We're going to make it pay what you want. You should see the link down in the description now. But every cent that we make on the game, we are going to use for a video coming up soon. We are going to buy somebody else's game for a first look, and we are going to give every single cent, every dollar to them as a tip. So we'll buy their game, however much it is, and give them the tip, whatever we end up making on the game. What that means is if we end up making, like $20, they get a $20 tip. If we end up making like $100, then we give them a $100 tip. If we end up making, we're probably not going to make more than $100. I don't even know if we'll make 20. But here's the thing. We do not know what game we're going to review yet. So, if you've just released a game, or if you have a game, or if you know somebody who has a game who could both use, a little extra cash and who could use, a little bit of, first looking for their game, put their game in the comments section or go to Twitter and tag the Nerves Podcast there. And let us know. You can tell us about your own game. You can tell us about somebody else's game. And we will pick one at random when we do the video to purchase. And we'll let you know and stuff like that. And then, we'll do a normal first look. Maybe, buy an extra copy to give away or something like that. We're not sure about that yet. But we are going to be making a tabletop role-playing game right now. Putting it up on itch.io for pay what you want. And any money we make is going to be used as a tip for the next game that we do a first look on. I'm excited for this. This is the sort of thing that the channel was made to do. We want to be giving people opportunities. Basically, we want to be a help. That's what the Nerves Podcast is about. We want to be giving you either something to relax to and listen to, reviews for your games and other people's games so you can be informed about what you want to buy, and then just money. We want to help people financially in any way we can. Please, if you are also interested in that and you want to go wild and see how big this tip can get, go buy the game. It's in the description. You can even read along with us now because we are about to make it, and you can kind of see where we're going, or wait until the end and pick it up then. But either way, let's jump in. So as you can see, I've got it screen recording over here. I'm going to type something blah, 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 over here so you can see that yes, it is screen recording. What we're doing, we're not making the game and then talking over it later. But what are we going to make? My first idea is to do something is to make a game based on another property, like a show or a movie I like. And one of my favorite animes is Fooly Cooly. So that's what we're going to do. This is the first episode. I want to do something that I want to do. And something that I'm a little comfortable with, so we don't have to reference anything. We can just jump in. So we are going to make a tabletop role-playing game based on Fooly Cooly. With those of you who don't know, I'll show some clips on the screen right now. So for those of you who do not know, Fooly Cooly is an anime about a space pirate who comes down to Earth in order to open up a portal. There is this factory known as the Medical Mechanica that creates these robots who... I'm not... That's the funny thing about talking about Fooly Cooly. You're not entirely sure what they're doing, but the alien has the ability to open up portals in people's minds and pull things out. And these are usually robots that Medical Mechanica makes. And so each episode revolves around the main character, Naota, having this new horn sprouted from their head, and the horn is like the portal trying to birth something out. So each episode revolves around them having a new horn and having to deal with a new kind of stressor from coming of age, either dealing with a friend or someone that they have a crush on or someone that has a crush on them. Just feelings in general. It's got a lot of emotions kind of under the surface that you can pick up on. And I feel like that's kind of why it resonated for a lot of teenagers in the Toonami era, way back when. Each episode revolves around a horn, emotions, and then something happens to make the portal opens up and releases some robot that needs to be fought and destroyed. So to do that, we have to kind of break it into its parts. The main conceit of the show is that every episode a new robot comes out of someone's head, somebody's portal, and that the portals, they're not always as powerful depending on who they get placed on. So like there's one character, their portal is rather weak, so when the alien tries to pull something out of his head, it's rather tiny. The portal doesn't get big enough. But then there's other characters who have a lot easier time when it comes to that. They're able to release, huge machines, and then eventually the main character is even able to release the Pirate King from his head. So we need to come up with a way for things to be coming out of people's heads. That's the main thing, I think. If we can get that down, most of the show, or most of the game, is kind of complete from that point. So to start with there, we need to kind of figure out what's a way we can explore that. And my first initial thought, mainly because it is a very easy system I think to work with and to make games with, is to go with Powered by the Apocalypse. So Powered by the Apocalypse. When you have a game that's powered by the Apocalypse, it means it runs on this system that involves 2d6, and when you roll the 2d6, you're trying to get usually a 10 or higher. That's a success, so it's very rare for there to be a full success. 7 through 9 is usually a mixed success, so about half the time you're either mixed successing or fully succeeding, and then 6 and under is a failure or like some kind of setback. So it's a very easy system to work with, in that you typically are given like 4 to 6 stats. You use 2d6, and so your stats will tell you how you're going to solve problems, and then the 2d6 help kind of generate the complications that come from solving those problems. Because you have to think, half the time you're going to fail, and half the time you're going to not even fully succeed, just partially succeed. So it's a game about setbacks. It's a game about the dice not allowing you total success without problems every time. So when there are issues, it's probably just going to keep snowballing from there, which I think really fits really coolly, especially if you're playing a bunch of characters who are emotionally volatile in the way that they would be able to open up one of these portals in their heads. Which reminds me, if we're going to pick Powered by the Apocalypse, we need I think the next step we need to do is we need to have the alien character. They can open the portal. That's what they do. And how could we do that, though? Maybe we could call them the Gatekeeper. And maybe they could even take like a GM role. GMs typically, in Powered by the Apocalypse games, don't roll dice. So maybe they aren't the GM. Maybe it's just a character. But I feel like the alien is the one who is possibly trying to open the portal every episode. What's something we could do with Powered by the Apocalypse that we could do to represent opening a portal? I feel like that's the kind of the egg we need to crack open to get inside the game. It could just be the dice. If you're rolling 2d6, we could do something like a success, or even just like a 12. Like if you roll 2 6s, yeah. What if it's doubles? What if doubles are the key? What if you need doubles to open the portal? So your stats would be like, we'll just put like coming of age / emotions. And so you're trying to solve problems with your emotions. You're a teenager. You're rolling 2d6. And when you get a double, so yeah, when you're using your stats to try to solve a problem, and you're rolling 2d6, and if you get a double, that could be something. Fully Cooley has an end game too, which is something we have to keep in mind, which means we can make our game designed around having an end game. the alien, the Gatekeeper, whatever they are, if they're the GM or not, they are trying to release Adamisk, the Pirate King. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to open these portals in different people's heads to find one powerful enough to release the Pirate King. So if we use doubles, which I kind of like the idea of that. I'm not sure many games go off of that, especially if you're using D6s. We could say 6 and 6 equals Adamisk, something like that. If you roll a 6 and 6, that opens up a portal that releases Adamisk. It would be very rare for that to happen, I think. I'm not sure. This isn't something I like to use all the time when designing games, but it is something that I think works rather well. Huh. You know what? What if it's not doubles? What if it's powered by the apocalypse, but it's 3d6? What if you're rolling 3d6 to do your stuff? Powered by the apocalypse, but it's 3d6. And then you need triples. Yeah, what if it was triples? So 666 equals Adamisk. 666, the number of the beast, but, I think we could forego that and say that 666 would be Adamisk. I don't know. It's very uncommon for you to roll that, but other triples, so like you would have 111, 222, 333, 444, 555. So triples would not be entirely uncommon. But the upper and the lower ones would be the least common if you're going off percentages. So we could say like triples that, and then we could also say like 111 equals like a wimpy portal. Like it's not very good. Something like that. I know, I really like the idea of using 3d6 instead of 2d6. And we can move around, because we need a failure, middle, success. That's what we'll call for now. We'll change it, and then a success. And we can move these around. Or 3d6. I'm thinking, because 3d6 is normally how you would generate stats like in an OSR game. Is what I'm thinking. So I'm wondering if there's something there too, if we didn't use Powered by the Apocalypse. A lot of writing a game is just kind of sitting here and staring and thinking. I'm trying to think, because what if... I'm thinking, what if... I got a lot of what ifs here. What if the alien got to choose somebody? Like, what if there was a chosen one? Like each session, maybe each session there's a chosen one who becomes like the focus of the episode. Because Fooly Cooly, each episode tends to revolve around like the main character and a side character. But if we're doing a group game, everyone will kind of take on the side character role unless they're the chosen one, and then they become the main character. We can even just call it main character for now. They're the main character, and they get to roll 3 dice for their things, for all their stuff. But it's like main character gets to roll 3 dice instead of 2. So we can stick with the normal 2d6 or Powered by the Apocalypse. The main character gets to roll 3 dice instead of 2, but triples create a portal. So 111 wouldn't be a wimpy portal. It would just be a different, different monster. I don't know. Some kind of different thing. Each triple would create something, and maybe they're ranked, like so 222, 333, 444, 555. There, could be different rankings or different, could be different set monsters. Even we could have set creatures that get pulled out each time, or something like that. That would make the game have an end game, but it would be a lot less likely for anybody to reach it right off the bat, because as we saw, 666 already hard to reach, not gonna happen a lot. So is 111. So 111 should also be important. I think the most common one would be 12, 444, and 9. So those would be the two that are most often hit, whereas 15, 6 are a little less likely, 3 and 18 are most likely. But it'll be very unlikely for the game to end, but still possible. And we could even say, we could have some sort of like system where like every episode, add another dice or something, so that we're slowly building to the chance of getting 666, and each. Oh no, hold on, I got it. Okay. So every episode after the first episode, or here, let me reword it. I'm trying to. This is not what the game is going to look like in the end. Stick with us. We'll get there eventually. Here, we'll put it down here. After rolling a triple, cross it off. So we can have set monsters. We only have to make 5 set robots or monsters. So after rolling, that actually works because there are 6. Ha, clever. There are 6 episodes. Hey, so we're actually like recreating the structure of the show too. That's really cute. I like that. After rolling a triple, we cross it off. In subsequent episodes, if that triple is rolled again, give the main character another dice. So there's even more chances to get that triple if you end up rolling one that has already been rolled. There should be something else. I don't know what that happens. I feel like, because we want as much as possible, we want a session, like one session, so 2 to 4 hours to fit an entire episode. So this is already kind of pushing us towards that, rolling triple sixes, because if we've already crossed off these 5, if they roll any of them, another dice will get thrown in. So what if we could say like every episode a dice gets thrown in 2, or something like that, possibly. Or we could say, if the triple is rolled again, give the main character another dice. And then we could say, if all other triples are crossed off, the next triple counts as 666. There we go. I think that would do it. So getting through 1 through 5 a lot quicker, or a lot more common, because we're adding dice every time you roll one that's crossed off. And after all 5 have been crossed off, no matter what your next triple is, you're going to get a 666. That's the end. I think that would cover that. I like that. I really like this, actually, because we have the 6 episodes. We have the Powered by the Apocalypse like basic structure, and using this alien character, or maybe it's the GM, I'm not sure yet, to add on another dice to one person each session to give them the focus, I think could make for a really interesting dynamic between the group, because everybody will know who the main character is each episode. And maybe you can even decide. You can say, hey, I want to be the main character, or hey, you haven't got to be the main character yet, you go. So sort of like that idea that you get that gets passed around, or used to get passed around a lot, about the spotlight. And as a GM, you're supposed to move the spotlight around to different characters. This game kind of makes that the focus. You know, somebody has a spotlight, and all the other characters can then start using their moves in relationship to the main character at that point. I like it. I know that I'm writing it, so maybe it's a little unfair to say that I like it, but I like it. So yeah, let's since they will not be rolling any dice, we can go ahead and make the alien the GM. So we'll call them the Gatekeeper. So the Gatekeeper, Game Master of the show. We'll call it a show because that's cute. At the beginning of each session, they choose a main character along with the help of the table. The main character then gets a third d6 to roll for checks. We'll call them challenges for now. That sounds fine. The goal of the Gatekeeper is to release Adamisk, the Pirate King, by getting the main character to roll 666. So we'll say that. Then we could have like a little section for triples, and put this info down there. Yeah. What I'm thinking we'll do is we'll go through and we'll get all the pieces together, and then I'll get all the fleshed out writing bits off the podcast, so this episode doesn't end up being forever long. But this is a good thing. I think the next thing we need to know is we need to figure out our stats. Our stats are going to be the next important thing, because that's how you solve problems in Powered by the Apocalypse. If you're playing like a D&D version, you'd have strength, dexterity, constitution, etc. And those are the different things you use to interact with the world. And the moves are very much like spells, I guess, in a way. The moves are things that use your stats, and hopefully stats you're good at, to react to specific things that happen in the game. And I think, not to jump ahead, for moves, I think we can definitely look to some other games for ideas, like Monster Hearts, because that has to do with sexuality and tension and things like that. But we can look at some other games, I think, to try to get some ideas for it, because I think with this Gatekeeper triple mechanic alone, we've already done what the Powered by the Apocalypse system is supposed to do, which is give you the framework to create something unique. And so we've already kind of thrown the curveball in. I think the rest of the game should be maybe a little more straightforward, so that when people pick it up, they can say, "Oh, hey, Powered by the Apocalypse, but this one thing," But we need 4 to 6 stats. I think we could even get away with 3. I think some even have 2, but then you're getting into like lasers and feelings, which we don't want to go that far down. I think 3 to 6. So what we want to do is we want to think about Fooly Cooly and think about how problems are solved within the show. Not even how problems are solved, how problems are started. And I think, part of it has to do, I'm just going to start writing down words and we will filter them down. It's like sexuality, lust. I want to say gusto, but that's not right. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm looking for the word hubris. That's definitely one. We can find a better word for that, though. Like cockiness. I think that's how you spell it. They use cockiness. They use naivety. There is, I want to say cleverness. Observant might be the right one. I don't know, because that could sort of be like our perception. Like whenever you want to, find something or notice something or be a part of something that you're not already, you could use your, observation. So sexuality, lust, cockiness, naivety, observant. What other things do they do in the show? In the first episode, it's kind of about... I know there's some stubbornness. So stubborn, maybe could be one. Stubborn. I'm not sure how we could handle the fighting. I feel like that would be weird just to have a stat that's called fighting. To swing, you have to swing the bat. What could that be? I'm gonna write just swing the bat. But what could that represent? I think stubbornness should definitely be one, because now it is always like, I don't want to join your stupid play, I don't want to swing the bat. And maybe we could think of a different word for it, but stubborn seems like a good one, because I want to jump to like cowardice or something like that. What's a good word for that? Not necessarily courage. Synonyms for brave. Bold, maybe. I end up doing this a lot too with games. I'm using, trying to find a word that makes you feel what I'm trying to feel, so when I find it, I'll know it. Bold, no. I guess courageous. Courageous always makes me think of the stupid lion, though, from Wizard of Oz. I'll even do this. I'll type stuff like this and see what it gives you. Dignity. Confidence. That could be it. Let's check out confidence. Confidence, trust, conviction, faith. That's too religious. Maybe confidence. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to find something, but that's definitely one of them. Let's see. I almost want to say love, but not really. I feel like that's what a teenager would say, though, which is kind of the point. And you're always using love to do things. Swing the bat, stubborn, observant, naive. So you could definitely use your naivety to get away with certain things. Cockiness. Let's look up a synonym for cockiness. Arrogant. That's a good one. Arrogant. Bumptious. Confident. I want to use arrogant, because arrogant is a good word. What's brash, though? Let's look at brash. Self-assertive in a rude, noisy, or overbearing way. Yeah, assertive. That's a pretty good word, but let's do arrogant. That's a good word. I like that word instead of cocky. No, cocky's pretty good too. Arrogant. Naive. Observant, stubborn, confident. Love. And then we could also look at like, we're going to look at Monster Hearts stats real quick. And, because I know Monster Hearts uses not necessarily emotions. Yeah, they use like hot, cold, volatile, and dark. So maybe we could go a bit more abstract with the stats. I don't know. I do not know. We're looking for good words is what we're looking for. Aggression. That's a good word. We want those kind of emotions that make you act. That make you feel like you are acting. I'm literally just looking for words right now. Carnal. Erotic. Titillating. Titillating's pretty good. Salacious. Lewd. Ooh, lewd would be good just because it's kind of a teenage word, honestly, at this point. Fond. Intimate. Intimate is good. Yeah, okay, I think we got it almost. So we have a pretty decent list. I like lewd. I like intimate. I like aggression. I feel like there's a lot there. I like aggression. I like observant. Lewd, intimate, aggression. Let's see, lewd, intimate, aggressive, observant. Maybe one more. Lewd, intimate. What else is there? Confident is pretty good. Maybe cocky. Or is that aggressive? Are those two similar? So lewd would be for making people uncomfortable. Making people uncomfortable. Reacting to others. Sexuality. Controlling. Yeah, teenage urges. I don't know, something like that. Intimate would be getting close to someone. Sharing secrets. Making friends. Aggressive would be lashing out, fighting, yelling, things like that. Observant would be, perception, empathy. Perception, empathy, and just awareness, just like a general awareness. That's kind of the same as perception, whatever. Cocky would be, asserting yourself, bragging, asserting yourself, bragging, and what else is it about cocky that you kind of have to, we'll just put swagger. I like that. It's a good word. I think it'll give you the idea of like what you can do. Okay, so since we can kind of give them all their own words, I think that's good. We'll say stats. These are your 5. You get 5. Some should be negative, some should be positive. And I kind of want to, if we did 5, you could do -3, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. So you're bad. You're really bad at one of them, kind of bad at 2 of them, and then good at 2 of them. Is that too much? Because you'd be failing a lot then. You'd be failing a lot more. Maybe we could say, maybe it's a +3 and a +2. And maybe you get 2 -2s. Maybe like that. So then you still have one that you're really good at, you're probably going to succeed at. And that's sort of what you base your character around. Another one that you're still pretty good at. But then the others you're like really bad. So like reacting wise, those are the ones you're going to falter at. So people can kind of use your weaknesses against you. You can use your strengths against them. Things of that nature. I like that. Like, I like it. I think it could be something that other people would have a problem with. But these bonuses to your stats. Look at that. 2d6, so we'll say, what is it? 1 through 6 is a failure. We'll call it something else. I think the language of Powered by the Apocalypse games is super important. How you label things is sort of how people will look at them, how people will judge them. And we'll say 10 plus equals success. So instead of failure, I know we can figure out how to word those. But basic moves. How many basic moves does a game typically have? Like if we look at Monster Hearts basic moves. I'm using Monster Hearts a lot just because it is a game that deals with a lot of the same themes, honestly. So yeah, basic moves. Turn someone on, manipulate an NPC, shut someone down, hold steady, lash out physically, run away, and gaze into the abyss. I kind of like those. I kind of like them. Let's split this up real quick. So many basic moves. They have 4, 5, 6, 7. How many did Apocalypse World have? World basic moves. Is 7 like the typical? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they have 9. So 7's kind of low. We'll keep it simple. We'll try to do 6 or 7. Let's do 6 or 7 basic moves. So I think, and what I think is, I think each one should go off of a stat. So we do 5, and then we do a couple general ones. Like hold steady in a scary situation, you roll cold. If you shut someone down, you use cold. Manipulate is hot. Turn someone on is hot. Lash out physically is volatile. If you're trying to run away, you use volatile. And then dark. So they give 2 to each one, and then only 1 to gaze into the abyss. So dark is sort of that one that is not less significant, but not as broadly applicable. And then, but it's also gaze into the abyss, which sounds dope. So we'll, instead of giving 2 to each one, we'll give 1 to each. We need 1 for lewd, 1 for intimate, 1 for aggressive, 1 for observant, 1 for cocky. Can't spell. I think for lewd, I definitely want, to make someone uncomfortable. I think, like flirting. And it could either be purposefully or not purposefully, Intimate. I kind of like the idea of bonding. Aggressive. Kind of like the lash out. Maybe not even physically, just lash out in general. So you could be aggressive. You could be an aggressive yeller, or you could be aggressive physically. It's up to you. Alright, lash out for now. Do battle, go aggro on someone, seduce or manipulate. So they kind of lump those together. I'd rather just say flirt. I feel like it's very important to Fooly Cooly to make people uncomfortable through your sexual advances, honestly. We'll have to put some content warnings in this for sure. Like, we'll say content warnings. For now, we'll just put this game involves sexual beings. I don't know. We'll word it better. Right now, that's just what we'll put. Read a sitch, so that is sort of like the observant. Read a person. Open your brain to the world's psychic maelstrom. So it seems like both of them have some sort of move that is like open your brain. You're the MC. I almost said main character. It's basically the GM will tell you something, and this has gaze into the abyss, answers the questions, and shows you visions. So we could something about talking to the Gatekeeper. That could be a move. We can call like skip school or something. Let's close this though. I don't want to steal too much from them. I just kind of wanted to see what was going on, and it seems like both of them have very similar things. Like they have things for manipulation. They have things for attacking. They have things for observation. So for observant, and maybe I'll go through and rename them. I'll watch the show again and rename some of these based on some of the things they say. Ooh, maybe not lewd. Maybe what is the word I want? Is it innuendo? Yeah. Sexual innuendo. I cannot spell. Specific meaning. A double entendre. Set up a risky figure of speech. Particular way of wording that is devised to have a double meaning. So maybe innuendo instead of lewd, because like the show most of the time isn't explicitly sexual. You're sort of these vague gestures. Like if you were to just listen to the audio, it would definitely sound sexual, and some of the imagery is very phallic. So I think part of the game would be using that, like not you as a person or a character being sexual, but you as a player narrating something that could be sexual. Sort of like how they mentioned here, like the double entendres. I think that would be important euphemism. Yeah, maybe euphemism. Yeah, maybe we could say euphemism. And that would be a stat. Your stat would be euphemism. An intimate. We could like call it share a bed, like in the show. Almost every time that Naota is, or we could say like share a bed or like lay down together, something like that. Smug is actually, I kind of like smug, making someone feel dumb. We'll just say that for now. Making someone feel wrong. And then talking to the gatekeeper. Like the main character could have, try to open the gate. Something like that. Observant. Wow, we need a word for observant. Or like a phrase. When you attempt to see what others are doing, maybe? When you attempt to see what others are doing, you roll observant. Smug. We could say belittle. Belittle another. You roll on cocky. So those are the basic moves. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I think we're getting somewhere. So we have the dice. We'll have to come up with the monsters. The monsters, what we'll do is we'll just take them from the show, really. We'll take them from the show and we'll take them from the show and then just turn them into something that needs to be dealt with. Not exactly sure how you're going to deal with it yet. We could probably just use clocks. And then like you're doing things with your stats to fill up the clock. Okay, but we've been recording for an hour, so I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break and then we'll come back and we'll work on some more of this. Okay, it has been a couple days, and I have worked a little bit more on the game. So after I took that break, I did not come back to it, and I worked on a little bit more. I fleshed out a lot of this stuff, the content warning. Basically, the content warning right now is just so people understand like what the game is going to entail if they haven't watched the anime. Because the anime is extremely, like, horny, but not really horny, if you know what I mean. If you've seen it, you know what I mean, 100%. Like, there's a lot of euphemism. There's a lot of audio that could be mistaken as, sexual, but it's not. And that's sort of the point. The point is for it to be almost subconscious in a way. So I just wanted to try to get that across as best as possible. Somebody else would probably write this better, but we're not spending, a whole lot of time on this game. We just really want to get the basics down so that people can pick it up and play it without issue. talk about how it's based on the anime. I talk about like what the players are doing. The main character is the player who has control of the scene. That's one thing that I figured out, I think, behind the scenes, and I have some recordings of it that I'll probably be playing in the background that you can see. But basically what it's going to be is that the main character isn't just there for one episode. The main character changes. That's the whole point of the moves, is for you to try to gain control of the scene. So while you are the main character, it'll be easier to keep control of the scene because you'll have that extra dice to roll. But each move that you use has a chance of summoning, a monster out of your head. But then everybody else is also trying to do, those things. Just trying to use their moves to get control of the scene so that they can be the main character, and so on and so forth. So it's really, it's kind of an antagonistic game, which I think is fun. I think if you have a group of people that you trust, then you can, battle for the top, quote unquote. You can battle to be the head of the scene. I think that could be really fun, and it's not something that I see very often, just because a lot of people, understandably, write these games for people who are strangers to be able to play, and it's a lot harder to be comfortable with a stranger when it comes to like an antagonistic style of game. But I'm kind of leaning into it. We'll see how it goes. If people complain about it, I totally understand. And maybe we can even talk about that. I know I mentioned it quite a bit throughout the What This Game Is Doing, but maybe we can talk about it more in the content warnings, something like that. But yeah, we got the moves all fleshed out as well. You can see those. I added Open the Gate. So if you're the main character, you can always attempt to, but if you fail, if you fail to roll triples when you try to open the gate, the Gatekeeper gets to choose the main character after that. So basically, if you say, for instance, are with one of the players and you decide you're the main character, or you're not even the main character. Let's say you're not the main character. You're just two characters hanging out, okay? Set the scene. You decide you want to share a bed with this character so you can try to gain the upper hand. And you succeed. You get control of the scene. You get that third dice and you are in bed and you immediately decide, I'm going to try to open the gate. Then you can try to roll and say you do not roll triples. So you're in bed with another character, you're trying to open the gate, and it doesn't succeed. The Gatekeeper then can take that third dice and give it to the other character right next to you, and then they could say, do like a euphemism, and try to turn the scene around onto you. So something that you set up can be turned on you in that way, if you're not able to get the dice rolls you want. Which, yes, that is very luck-based, but I think that's okay. I think it's okay for this type of game. I think this is the kind of game where that is the point. The story and the fun will come from those moments when you try to, like, explode on somebody to gain control of the scene, and you roll really crappy, and then you as a group get to decide, like, okay, what does that look like? And who gets control after that sort of thing. Yeah, maybe I should add that to all of them maybe, but we'll keep it as it is right now. Because right now, when you're the main character, you have two different things you can do. You can either talk to the Gatekeeper, which is the only time you get to use your Fooly Cooly stat. And that's basically to get questions and answers, and that can help you kind of work with the Gatekeeper to set something up and do something. Or just learn some things. You can, it's a world building tool. So like if you were to ask like, hey, what's around here? The two of you could discuss like, oh, well, there's a couple different options that you could do. Stuff like that, and then open the gate. Those are the two moves you get when you're the main character. Otherwise, you only get brag, see what others are doing, explode, share a bed, and euphemism. Then I started to talk about the Gatekeeper. So the goal of the Gatekeeper is to get the main character to roll triple sixes, opening the biggest portal and freeing Adamus, the Pirate King. This ends the game and moves everyone to the epilogue phase. And then it says, kind of like the very small Gatekeeper guide is, to do this, they should do what they can to be dramatic and push the characters to use their moves on one another. In this way, the Gatekeeper is a troublemaker and should enjoy being such. So the Gatekeeper is definitely less of a game master They are more of a character whose sole purpose is to get the people to use their moves on each other. They're the bad influence of the group. I'm excited by that. I'm excited by that because that seems like something it's already something I do when I'm running games, as I like to kind of egg people on and be like, you mean you're not going to pick up this awesome sword sitting in the middle of this obviously not trapped room? Come on. Things like that, really pushing people to do what I think is the fun option. But they understand that. They understand it's what I think is fun. And then the conflict is then them figuring out what they actually want to do with their character. All that we have left to do is the clocks. And basically what we're going to do, I think it's just really simple, is each one is going to get progressively more difficult to face, or just take more things, because I don't want fighting the monsters to be like this big thing where you're like trading hit points back and forth and getting harmed. I think all that it's really going to do is give a break in the torment of the game, and you as a group are just going to have to decide what you're doing for each one. And if you succeed the roll, you mark off a clock, and if you don't, you mark off your clock, and it'll be sort of like a back and forth sort of thing like that, with the goal not being that you ever die or get hurt or destroyed, but that if maybe your clock gets filled up, that you're just knocked out of the fight. And maybe when you're knocked out of the fight, everybody else who's still left gets a little bonus or something like that, so we can kind of keep pushing towards defeating the robots. And because in the anime, what the fight always kind of goes back and forth for a bit, and then there's like the one big cool thing that happens, and I think that's kind of what we're going to aim for. So as people get taken out pretty quickly, like maybe everybody only has 2 pieces of the clock, so getting hit, you can get taken out of the fight really easy until it's left just one person who can make the really cool final attack, and that'll be maybe something that a bonus they can carry through, or just give them a cool narrative moment. I don't think it really needs anything. I don't think it needs like a monetary value. It doesn't need to give you anything other than the chance to be, the person who lands the finishing blow. Maybe that is enough reward to try to shoot for. Or maybe that's the person who gets to fuse with Conti, because we need to have a Conti character. I didn't even think about Conti. Gosh, Conti's like the coolest MFer. We'll put clocks here. Let's put Conti down here. Maybe the main character gets to become Conti. Yeah, maybe that's how it works. The main character gets to become Conti. And we can maybe give Conti some moves that they can use against the fight. Maybe that's how it works. Maybe they... I don't know. I kind of want to make it really simple and really straightforward. Nothing too complicated. But yeah, I think maybe whoever the main character is who opens the door gets to be Conti. Or gets to fuse with Conti and gets to do something. And then you can just talk about that. Just like they do in the show, They're like, oh, are you the one who we heard that you were the one who fused with the big robot. And, it's just something to talk about. Yeah, maybe after that you can get a move. Or you can get like a bonus to brag or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But yeah, I think I'm going to work on the rest of this off, recording, just because we're pretty much done. You got to see the beginning process of figuring out a tabletop role-playing game. I know this one is rather simple. Maybe we can do a longer one later on. I am always just really worried about making a video that's too long and people won't want to watch it. Even though I know that's not true, because I personally, if I see a video that's an hour long, I'm more likely to click on it than I am a video that's only 10 minutes long. And I have no idea why. But yeah, maybe we should start making longer content. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. If you literally want to see an hour of me making a game, or more than an hour, because it takes a lot more than an hour, let me know and we can do that next. But remember, and I'm going to keep reminding you, this game, when this video is up, it should be coming out on Friday, so you should be watching this Friday or someday after. You can go to the nervesitch.io page. It'll be the link in the link is in the description. I cannot speak. Go to the page. You can buy this game. It's pay what you want. So if you don't want to give us any money, you do not have to. You can just take the game. You can critique it. You can make a podcast about it yourself. But any money that you give us, any money that this game makes, will be going to the next game that we give a first look to. We will buy the game for the full price with our money, and then only use this money that we get from this game as a tip. So if we end up making like $20 on this game, they get a $20 tip. If we end up making like $100, we can give them a $100 tip, and so on, so forth. And we'll be doing more things like this in the future. So definitely in the comments, let us know what game you want us to buy for next time to give this money to. It can be your own game. It can be your friend's game. It can be some game that you just think is really swell. But let us know, because we're going to be picking a game from the comments to be the one who gets the money. So yeah, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this tabletop role-playing game based on Fooly Cooly. Until next time, good luck. Don't die.